Spoiler alert, the following podcast includes discussions on film that may potentially, intentionally or inadvertently, reveal plot twists, character traits, story details, up to and including endings that might otherwise be considered spoilers. Proceed at your own risk.
You're listening to Moviesucktastic.
Looks ugly, he does ugly things.
Sounds like some bad movie.
Hello, everybody. Welcome.
And welcome.
How you doing, Scott?
Lugosi.
Let's throw you in the frame there. Oh, there we go. Ooh, there I am. Oh, I have to turn the sound off of that.
Oh, what the hell's the noise? I hear a plane. What's going on?
It's a fucking stupid plane going around the planet.
Trying to do this for years, and we never got around to it. We were supposed to do this when my book came out, and we never did it. But we're doing it now, and I tell you, going back and rewatching these films, Lugosi. I love some Lugosi. Now, I'm going to offend some classic hardcore fans off the bat, because the reason we're reviewing these is because they're bad movies.
Right. And I have The Raven. That's what I have on the screen right now.
Perfect. I figured you'd lead with The Raven.
Okay.
Now, both of these films are great because this is back when Universal, they were just raping Edgar Allan Poe's corpse as much as possible. Because
it was so easy to do.
It was public domain. They didn't have to pay for anything. And it got to the point where you'll see it even more with The Black Cat, but where they would make a movie based on Edgar Allan Poe film, but it would be barely, it would bear any it would
no
barely
resemblance.
Thank you. The bear just stuck in my throat. There'd be no resemblance between the source material and the film. Now, the Raven is a bit different. They were having troubles finding scripts, and the one screenwriter submitted 3 screenplays at once. And here's 3, and it worked. They picked one of them. And the great thing about this one is that they didn't bother trying to base the film on the Raven, because it's a poem. It's a poem, and there's no way you're going to make a
short.
Sense
I mean, what's it, like a 10 or 12 page poem?
It's
even that long.
It's just a guy sitting in a chair in a library, and
Never
a raven
more.
keeps mocking him. Yeah, never more. So what they said, like, screw it, we're gonna call it the Raven, but we're gonna make Edgar Allan Poe the source material for the bad guy, and not try to base it on his story. So instead of trying to base the film is actually like Lugosi is like Universal. Just think of Universal as Lugosi in this film. Just right. He's obsessed with Edgar Allan Poe. He's obsessed with death. I love the beginning when you first see Lugosi. He's leaning back in the chair in his office, and there's a big shadow of the Raven, and he's reciting the poem. And there's this museum guy just sitting there. That's very nice, sir. The Raven is my talisman. That's very peculiar. Death is my talisman.
In watching both films, there's lots of quirky little lines like that you watch it and it's like, holy shit. They're just so quirky. Like, for instance, there's, and this is later on in the film, but I have to say it, when they're doing the horse race, okay, and it's just like these, like, plastic, or actually back then they were probably better than plastic. These horses just going around in a circle. Oh, number five, I want number 5. They're betting on this fake horse race, and this one guy, just for no reason, he goes, he just says, "Oh, I used to have horses when I was young," and the one woman says, "Oh, I could tell that by looking at you." What? What the fuck does that even mean? This movies like this, that era, is just so white. It's like, I can tell that you're a natural equestrian. It's like, oh, I can tell that by looking at you.
Well,
okay.
The rating is bad.
Extremely bad.
It's bad, and
the IMDb ratings for these are very high. They're in the 7s, and I think it's mostly just nostalgic.
It is, and you get people that really have this love for these old classic films, and it can blind you to a lot of the shortfalls.
Right.
Not making fun of the plot or anything. I think the strongest point in this film, just as it is in the other one, the Black Cat's got a lot more going for it. So I don't,
it does.
That's a whole
with the whole
separate animal.
Satanism thing.
Let's cross that bridge when we burn it. But I mean, the basic plot for anybody who's not seen the film yet is that the daughter of a judge, Jean Thatcher, she's startled by a detour sign and runs off the road. And in order to and she needs a life-saving surgery. It's true.
I mean, it's just this women can't drive stereotype, even in the 30s.
Literally, detour sign.
Just anything to get like that fucking what's the name of that scream? It has an actual name. Begins with an H.
Oh, Wilhelm.
The Wilhelm. I was thinking the helm. Yeah, the Wilhelm scream. It just. It's like in the trailer alone. It's like 6 or 7 times, 6 or 7 different times that somebody screams, or a woman does.
You can go through this film step by step. Like the next scene when she's in the hospital surrounded by these guys, and she looks like she just had her makeup done for like a model shoot. It's like, yeah, because when I get in a car crash and I need life-saving surgery, I look like I just like posed for Vogue. Yeah. No, definitely.
Yeah, maybe it's Maybelline. Richard Vollen, Dr. Richard Vollen. Well, anyway, he saves this girl. Where we just left off with Scott, that she sees a detour sign or something, gets scared and drives off the road, and nearly dies. And the only one that can save her is Bela Lugosi. Apparently, I mean, this is such fantasy land, because apparently, she's near death, and he's the only person in the whole wide world that can save her. He's that brilliant. And the advancements in medicine in the 30s was not good. It was better, but not good. So yeah, suspension of disbelief and all that. Well, anyway, he gets convinced to save her, and falls in love with her. He falls in love with her, and the father who begged him to save her life does not approve of his love for his daughter, even though she's not in love with him. She likes him, but she doesn't have the same feelings towards him. Well, what ends up happening is he slowly, it's only an hour film, so rather quickly he starts to go mad, and just seeks revenge, or he's hurt. He's just a crybaby. That's what it really comes down to. He can't take the, he can't take the denial. And it's not even from her, really. It's from the father. So he sets out to... His mission is to kill the father. But he doesn't want to do it himself. So Boris Karloff, his character, Edmund Bateman, he wants him to fix his face. Because he feels he's, so ugly and deformed. And although he just looks kind of like a homeless person with a beard, he looks fine. So he convinces him to fix his face, but of course there's another side to that. He wants him to do something in return, which is to kill the girl's father, just to get him out of the way, essentially, because he wants the daughter. But with all of that said, I was talking about Boris Karloff's character Edmund, about how he wants Dr. Richard Vallon. He wants him to fix his face because he says his whole life he's just ugly. He's always been told that, and he feels that it makes me mad. In watching both of these films, something that I never noticed.
Same for the show. Start the show.
What?
Are we recording?
Yeah, no, we've been recording. I haven't stopped.
Oh, so you're just going to splice this together. So I'm actually destroying that groove.
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
I may not splice it because I did talk on my own. Anyway. Boris Karloff's character, what I noticed for the first time is how bad of a lisp he has. I never noticed it before.
It comes through. It comes through sometimes. Yeah.
It comes through big time in The Black Cat.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you could actually see his whole tongue in the bottom right-hand corner of his mouth. It's really bad.
Well, because in The Black Cat, he's trying to sound refined, where he's doing the more gruff voices. It's easier to cover it in that.
He can cover it better, but yeah.
Yeah. Now,
usually he's in some sort of makeup or doesn't have many lines.
Now, for me, the plot to The Raven is inconsequential. You're watching the film to watch Lugosi and Karloff act.
That's it. Yep.
And first of all, for Karloff, I feel really bad for Karloff in this because his character is, I'm so ugly that I do ugly things, and I want you to make me not ugly anymore because I've been ugly all my life. So what do they do to make Karloff ugly? They put a beard on him.
Yeah.
That's
it. I said that. That's it. I go, he's not even that ugly. He just kind of looks like a homeless man with a beard.
Unshaven. Yeah.
He's unshaven. That's it.
And then Lugosi, to make him ugly, just turns him into a stroke victim, basically. Just paralyzes half his face and paints an eyeball on his on his eyelid just to fuck with him.
Yep.
But the scene where
and it's not even like a stroke. It's probably like Bell's palsy or something.
Lugosi's palsy.
It's like it'll go away. You just have to take some medicine. That's all.
Now, and even again, there's so much wrong with the film. That, again, I love it, but still, there's so much wrong with it. Lugosi's he's a retired surgeon. Yet every time a woman runs off the road, they're calling him, trying to call him in. Then you got bartenders giving his address out to felons to change his face. So this guy gets more fucking lip time just on the street. He's like, I told you I'm retired. And even then, like the most renowned surgeons in the area call him and says, I'm not interested. No, I'm not going to do it. No. A drifter shows up at his door. I want to see Vallon. Let him in. Yeah. He's insane.
He's like the doctor from Human Centipede almost.
Yeah, he really is, and that's why that film was so great, and that's why this is so great. Now, the scene where Karloff meets Lugosi for the first time, watch them act during that scene where Karloff's given this shitty dialogue, and he's trying to explain something that doesn't make much sense.
Although I do love his ugly people doing ugly things. I do love that line, though.
Maybe ugly people do ugly things. Right, now, but it's only good because he delivers it. And Lugosi, just watch his body language, his face. He's trying to sell this dialogue. He's selling it. He's trying to put emotion behind it. He's trying to put, show that this person is actually trying to think, and someone who's not very sophisticated is trying to make these leaps in his logic, and he's trying to rationalize and understand why he's where he is at crossroads. Karloff pulls it off. You when he says maybe, all my life they've called me ugly, and it made me mad. It's like there's somebody reflecting on it. He really pulls it off. Then you go to Lugosi, who takes the dialogue and just runs with it. Just say, this is the dialogue, and I'm sold to it. You are saying something profound. Who says that? Nobody says that, but this crazy motherfucker does, because he just says whatever comes in his head. When his butler catches him coming out of his secret compartment in the office, This is Judge Thatcher's here to see you. There's like that long pause. Judge Thatcher's here to see me. Like, yeah, that's what he just said. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Stop it, Bella.
And talk about insane. So this felon comes to him and says, "I want you to change my face." And he immediately thinks, "I know what I'm going to do. I want him to kill the judge for me." So he takes him, paralyzes half his face.
Yeah, he deliberately makes him a monster.
Right. So what do you do with someone you've just horribly disfigured? Make them serve drinks at your cocktail party. Here, put on this butler uniform.
That's right. Although my favorite scene after that is when he shoots all the mirrors and Lugosi opens that little window up top and he's like basically laughing at him, and he shoots at him and he runs out of bullets, and then Karloff, he just goes, "Argh!"
No, but, and he did what I love from those films. He throws the gun when he runs out of bullets.
Yeah.
He throws the gun at him. And you know what? It's like a dumb thing, but I love it. There's just something about that. It's like that ultimate act of, you know what? Fuck you. I'm gonna see if I can nail you with the gun. And yeah, like, Karloff.
Oh wait, here it is. I gotta see if I can get everyone to hear it.
And then they cut away for like 15 minutes. There's like a segue of a time passage of 15 minutes, so you can come back and go, "Ah, you're hideously ugly. Good. I could use that hate."
That's right. I can use it. Your hand, my brains.
So, but that's why he's truly. I mean, I don't know if the script does it on purpose, but he truly is a madman because there's no real logic in his plan. So I'm going to hideously disfigure this skate felon, going to make him dress up in a butler uniform and serve drinks during this get-together. I'm going to invite a lot of people, and then I'm going to kill some of them during the night, and hope maybe nobody will notice.
Yeah. Yeah, that was one thing I noticed watching both of these films. People died, and people didn't care.
Yeah, whatever.
Like in The Black Cat, the driver, he dies, and it's like, 2 days later, someone decides to finally come by and ask about it. It's like, are you kidding?
Well, it's like it's that mentality of the time too. Is okay, now we have to get them in the house together, so then he can start stealing them, one by one. So okay, and why would he invite like 2 or 3 other couples when he's gonna get rid of the one couple? Why would you do that?
Well, I love the letter. He said, "I'm inviting some people that you will know." It's like, oh, okay. I'm creepy.
It's not what it said. It was there'll be other people there,
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, okay. But it's like I'm creepy. You think I'm crazy. So if I invite other people, you'll be more comfortable and inclined to go.
I'm wondering if I read it wrong too.
At least Thelma's going to be there.
Yeah, right. I was reading it in Lugosi's voice in my head, so instead of saying there'll be other people there, it'll be like, there'll be other people there, I was like, wow, really
that is a very good point.
Now,
there will be other people there,
But he sells crazy at the beginning of the movie. Just when he's it's like a year after that surgery and she's recuperating.
Oh yeah, here it is. Will you and Dr. Holden come Friday evening for dinner and the weekend? We, dear Dad, we up and went. You come too. We up and went.
That was hip kid lingo. Yeah.
Yeah. There were other people there.
But so like after the surgery, where she's like lounging in his house while he's playing death music on his piano.
Yeah.
And she's like, but there's that part where she's looking at him, like, you're a surgeon, a musician. You're more than a man. And like he leans over, a god. like that's the logical conclusion. A god, yeah. Well, of course, I was thinking that.
But of course,
a god tainted with emotion, human emotion.
Yeah.
He bought into that god thing way too quickly.
That's right.
And I love how the judge finally notices when they're at the he's watching her perform the Raven as a Broadway dancing number, which I don't know why it hasn't been done yet. And he just like he watches Lugosi salivating over. He's like, oh my god, I've made a huge mistake. And again, when he goes to the house and he tells Lugosi to stay away from his daughter, there's not like, oh, I love her. He's like, no, you must send her to me. Send her to me.
Then doesn't he end that conversation with something along the lines of, "You'll pay if you do not send her to me,"
Yes.
or something like that?
Oh yeah, but it's just the send her to me part. Send her to me. Try that next time you take somebody's daughter out on a date. Don't just tell that to the father. Send her to me.
I'm gonna try it with my wife.
You should do that.
I'm gonna say, you need to come here. Send yourself to me.
I'm here.
And then she's gonna tell me it's like to go fuck myself. It's a different world, people.
So and Lugosi's character Volin has this surgery in the basement, and also he's reconstructed all these torture devices from Poe stories, the Pit and the
That's
Pendulum,
right. Pit and the
and
Pendulum.
of course, my favorite, the room where the walls come together. which is a hard. I mean, it's so awkward, but really, how else do you describe that? There's no name for it. It's not like a guillotine or anything.
Right.
It's just the room
What
where the walls
what do you call it? The squisher?
come together.
I put them in the squisher. Yeah, that's not gonna work.
And I'm telling you, the Saw movies stole that from this film, because it's like that scene with the room where the walls come together right out of this film. And he's got the room, the elevator comes down, and he's got the huge switch in the basement to turn all the phones off. Phones.
Yeah.
And it's labeled phones, so he doesn't accidentally bring the room down when he doesn't want to. You got to label everything properly.
That's right. I did a little homework on like how much the movies cost and all that stuff.
Uh-huh.
And both films cost like the Black Cat, if I'm not mistaken. Here, I have it over here. One of them cost $95,000, and the other one cost $115,000. And okay, so the Black Cat cost $95,000. It made $236,000 at the box office.
Now,
which adjusted for inflation, it's 1935 to 2015. It's like $4 million.
Yeah. Now here's the funny thing. I'm not going to get too academic here, but here's the really interesting thing. This film was a big moneymaker for Universal.
Right.
Right. Yeah. At the same time, this film killed the horror film industry.
Oh, did it really?
Here's what happened. This film, all these scenes of the graphic violence, or so to speak. Back then there was the big Dracula was considered bad, horrible film. You had all these horror films coming out. They had all this kind of these graphic themes of torture and violence. And this is like leading right into the whole censorship thing. And this film jump-started the ban in England on horror films. This was like the straw that broke the camel's back.
Get the fuck out of here.
And then because that whole market dried up where they weren't showing horror films anymore, that cut back drastically on horror film budgets in America. So you effectively cut the market in half. And it ended up fucking Lugosi over. Because here's a double irony. After this film, he went over to England to film. He went over to England to do The Mystery of the Marie Celeste, which I think is his best performance. And they offered him like a movie contract, like 4 or 5 contract deal with Hammer, and he turned it down because he didn't want his dogs to have to stay in quarantine. He wasn't his own best agent. He really fucked himself over quite a few times. Wow. So he rejected their movie deal because his dogs would have to stay in quarantine too long, and then came back to America where he had no jobs. because his identity was synonymous with horror films, and no one would hire him.
That's insane. How fucking uptight. Yeah. Listen, I can watch both of these films with my children. So it just goes to show, I mean, it's an 80-year difference. But people were more skittish, scared of this shit than my 5-year-old. Well, I mean, that's what it comes down to. It just, I'm sure that people watching this fainted in the aisles, and it's just like, really, get over yourself. I don't care if it was 80 years ago.
Well, now, just to be fair, too, don't forget this is like 1935. You're talking about an older generation of parents and adults who didn't even grow up with film.
Yeah.
And definitely didn't grow up with films that had any kind of adult themes in it. Any films they saw were, I mean, how long did it take to get up to this? So, I mean, these films were groundbreaking in the level of horror that they were bringing out. That's why when you see like all the outrage over the Saw.
Uh-oh. It's got cut out again. He was making a good point about the Saw franchise. What I think he was going to say is the Saw franchise.
Hello?
Oh, you there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the Saw franchise started the whole torture porn thing. It's like, you know what? They were complaining about that back in the 30s, too.
Yeah, just at a different level. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So that's very interesting. And there's more money stuff in the Black Cat we'll talk about when we get to that. But, yeah, I mean, the irony's there that you bring it up. The whole idea this movie made so much money. It was a big seller, and it also killed their entire horror industry. Right.
So, yeah, I guess the inflation, it made $236,000, which is roughly $4 million in 2015 money, which back then, that's a lot of money, because what did a movie cost to go see? A nickel? 10 cents?
Yeah.
Like, for real. I mean, it's just, I haven't checked ticket sales, but it's why films like, The Wizard of Oz, and more specifically Gone with the Wind, adjusted for inflation, is the biggest film of all time, based on tickets sold and money, inflated money. I think they said something like, adjusted for inflation, Gone with the Wind, something like $3 or $4 billion. It's insane.
Lugosi wasn't in Gone with the Wind.
No, I understand that, but I think for the time. Gone with the Wind had made like $80 or $100 million, or something insane. 1939, where it's like you're paying a nickel or a dime to go see it. They were lining up around it. What I'm getting at is films like this, because it was the only form of entertainment. TVs weren't invented yet, obviously. You just had the fucking radio. People lined up around the block for years to see these. I mean, this film ran from May 1934 until it probably ran for 5 years. Because what else?
This is before streaming, yeah.
Obviously.
Now
you're very observant. All right, so I guess we should go ahead and end the show.
I guess before I lose my internet again, motherfucker.
Yeah, you just kind of faded out for a split second there. All right, everybody. This is episode 1. Actually, it's a milestone, kind of a quarter milestone. It's episode 175 of Moviesucktastic, inching very close to the 200th episode. Who fucking knew, right? All right. Yeah. You can go to our website at moviesucktastic.com.
Moviesucktastic.com.
Yep. Completely revamped, redone site. You can download all the shows there. You can listen to the shows right from the podcast player, or you can tune in live every Thursday at 8 o'clock and watch the show that way. All from the website. You can go to iTunes. You can download or listen to the show right from there as well. You can go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/moviesucktastic. If you want to leave us voicemail, 908-514-4478. No. God, I haven't done this in a while. 908-514-4470. 908-514-4470.
908-514-4470.
4470. I hope that's the right number. I think it is. Anyway, you can also email us. The address is themovieguys@moviesucktastic.com.
But you can do all of this from the Moviesucktastic app.
That's right, which is completely free. Go and get it. You can go you can go into the Google Play Store and download it for free.
If you have an iPhone, you're fucked.
No,
Sorry.
the mobile version of the site is coming for iPhone users.
Oh, I take that back. Never mind.
Yeah. Actually, it's for anyone, but it's mainly for the iPhone users because they won't be able to get the app.
Right.
Because we're not, everything that we do is completely free. But when we do things like the Android app, that's not free. So, but we don't charge money for it. So we're not going to pay twice as much money, was what I'm saying.
They don't care about our rationale.
Well, it's the truth.
It is the truth.
They're thinking that out there right now. Well, how come there is no iPhone? Because you know what? It costs a lot of money to do one app.
They're thinking, why is Joey still talking about the app?
I don't know. Maybe if more of you downloaded it, I talk less about it. Anyway, thank you for joining us. Do you have any wisdom?
I like torture.
You do like torture. Yeah, I love it.
Yes, the room
Yeah, you
where the
you see-
wall come together.
Yeah. Isn't it sweet? Yeah, sweet.
You are hideously ugly.
Yeah. All right, everybody. We'll talk to you next week.
Oh yes.
Oh, yes.
Maybe ugly people do ugly things. You are saying something profound. I mean, I was.